Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Jessica Graham. I'm the Community Development Manager for the Downtown West Project. I'm joined today by my colleagues and collaborators, Bethany, Windle, and Jason Sue. They're going to introduce themselves, and we're just here today to talk a little bit about public realm, what it means, what it looks like, what it might look like in the future. So before we get started, Bethany, let's start with you. Please tell us a little bit about who you are and your role and on this project for the Downtown West team.
Yeah. Thanks, Jess. Hi, Jason. So great to join both of you today to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is open space and public realm in general. I come from a public sector background. I've spent most of my career working for cities across the United States, um, working in all types of different public realm projects, primarily parks and open space. And so for the Google project, I'll be leading the Parks and Open Space work stream. And that is inclusive of public realm like sidewalks, plazas, all of that interesting connected, we like to call it connective tissue of the city. And so very excited to be working on the project. I come from a background of city and regional planning as well as landscape architecture.
Hmm, awesome. Thanks, Bethany, for sharing. Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jessica. Um, and thank you to the whole team for inviting me to come have this great conversation. Again, my name is Jason Sue. I'm the Executive Director at the Guadalupe River Park Conservancy. We provide community leadership for the active use and development of the Guadalupe River Park. And we are having a great time being in the middle of such immense change in our city, trying to do best for our community, our nature, our public spaces, and to really create a space that people can feel that they civically own, that they feel welcomed, and that they can connect to nature. My background is also in urban planning. Um, Prior to being with the Conservancy, I did a lot of work in street life, in public arts, in streetscapes, construction, and planning. And I just really I believe in the power of the public realm and public life and how it just connects so many different people, addresses so many different priorities, and it's that invisible it's that invisible web that can really uplift all boats if you really invest in it.
Wow, uplift all boats. I love that. And I have to say,
Yeah.
as a community development person, I was really excited to join this project because of the vision that we have for Downtown West. Over 80 acres of mixed use spaces, some office spaces, of course, also some residential spaces, over 15 acres of parks and open spaces, all of those things really kind of coming together to create this moment. And so when I started, I don't have a urban planning background, and I wonder if some of our listeners are like me and they don't know what public realm means or how it's defined. So maybe you can give us some of your thoughts on like how would you explain what public realm is and how is it best used to make sure everyone feels included in the community.
Hmm. I'm happy to start, Jason, if you want to take a moment to think about it.
Thank you.
Um, I like to think of the public realm as anything that starts from the threshold of a doorway out to the street and beyond. And if you think of it that way, it's very inclusive of a lot of things that most people don't think is part of public realm or landscape architecture or open space or even a part of an ecological network. But really, it's anything that's outside. And that starts at the doorway. And so if you're thinking about building a city or building a district or building a place, it's really thinking of that connective tissue that ties buildings and plazas and parks and ecological areas, amenities, offices, housing, all together. And it's a place where people can interact. It's a place where we hope that activities take place and some formal programming, informal interactions where people can eat and people watch and be and feel like they belong. And I think that's one of the most important parts of the public realm, in my opinion.
Oh, fantastic. What is the public realm? When I think about public realm, I kind of think about the outcomes that we're trying to gain from having a beautiful public realm. And so I actually just got this shirt recently, and I think about I would compare the public realm to articles of clothing, and when you put it together, you're creating what you're trying to get out of it, just public life. What the elements that make up the public realm, the streetscapes, the landscapes, the buildings, the environments, the programming, um, are all meant to help create a sense of identity, a sense of belonging, and a sense of connection, whether it's to your neighbors or to nature or to yourself, because you want to feel more centered. And so I try and always think about the public realm in terms of it as a tool to achieve what we're all trying to do in our own different ways, through our parks, through our buildings, through our development, through work, through housing. We're trying to create public life. We're trying to create a place that really attracts us and inspires us to live to our fullest.
That's really powerful. I have the image of just people kind of gathering outside, and I think Bethany, you were mentioning like go for a picnic in the park or listen to some live music or perhaps participate in a game of pickup catch or something, or maybe even just take a stroll along the side of the creek. Do you either of you have examples of some of your favorite programming? I know, Jason, you have great programming going on with your organization. Maybe you can give us a couple of examples of some of the types of programming that you currently have going on and what the community, how the community has responded to those.
Yeah, so we do have a lot, and it's very exciting to be able to still do some programming during the pandemic. And the two that I would really highlight right now would be first off, we're doing this artist in residency series, and the whole idea is how do you turn the river park into a nature studio where artists in residence can really commit to the community, commit to the context of the space and the ecology, and let that space inspire them, and the feedback from the community inspire them to create something that fits in where the artwork will be hosted. And the process of it has just been very fascinating because it's so easy to fall into a pattern that kind of drains your inspiration, especially now. And these types of programs, that ability to have that spark, that change, that kind of evidence of, wow, our community is still together, our community is still building something, our community is still producing beautiful things, highlighting the creativity of our local friends and artists, and doing it in a way that also allows people to experience their open space. I think it's just super exciting to kind of think you could leverage the power of public art and the power of parks together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say the second thing would be our volunteer programs. And I say that because it's sometimes you just want to feel like you are contributing to something, whether it is as small as picking up like a piece of trash or helping support a movement. What's great about parks is that it's often the stepping stone to greater civic engagement. Like that is where we see the most people volunteer for the first time, and they volunteer regularly, and they can see the impacts of their work. And that little bit of spark, almost like an endorphin rush, like allows them to think, I can have more of this, I can do more. And I feel empowered because there are other people feeling the same way, whether they know them or not. And I think having these types of programs just continuously spark energy, healing, reflection into our community and into a space that is already suited to provide that type of healing and really amplify it.
Mhm.
Yeah, certainly after the year we've all had, we're all keen to contribute and give something, like you said, have some type of meaningful impact. I actually have really fond memories, Jason, of volunteering with your organization probably 8 years ago now. It's my first time. Actually, I went and was doing some trimming of the rose bushes, and it's exactly what you said. I felt the connection to nature, first and foremost, but also the connection to the people around me. And then that layer of the civic engagement and feeling like I'm a part of something that's for me and for my community, but also like for a broader group of people as well to create that enjoyability in that space. Bethany, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to plus one and agree with Jason and Jess both that I think especially during these COVID times, the public realm is so important. And just, I don't know about you all, but just taking 15 minutes away for a walk from my computer or, um, like Jason was saying, picking up a piece of trash or just you notice your surroundings so much more when you are more sequestered or alone because we're all quarantining and social distancing as we are supposed to be doing, and just being outside in a different environment, even if it's for a walk or 15 minutes of fresh air, can just completely change your perspective on the day and your mental health and so many other physical and mental impacts that we all know. There's such great studies on all those. I'm sure Jason could quote all of them right now. um, I think it's just such a vital part of the public realm and ensuring that we're creating these spaces that are connecting, as we're all on our own right now to an extent, at least visually connecting to nature or visually connecting to other people. Is just really, really important to us as humans. And I hope that the spaces that we are envisioning and planning would be very successful at that.
Yeah, it it reminds me of something that our Supervisor Chavez, told me once earlier on when the pandemic first broke, and she was telling me that parks are really also part of the broader public safety and public health network that we have.
That's great.
Not just because it keeps us healthy and active and keeps our immune system boosted as we're battling a pandemic, but it keeps us feeling healthy, feeling human, feeling connected, so that you're in a long haul, but you are in it with people that care, and you yourself need to be as physically healthy and as mentally
Yeah.
healthy to last. And I remember when she told that to me, I was just like, whoa, like that makes sense. And I'm just so glad that it was just said in such a succinct way, because it doesn't take long for us to feel cabin fever. It doesn't take us long to feel stuck. But it also doesn't take us long to recover from it if you have like a beautiful public realm to walk around in, to engage with, to feel safe and just to feel relaxed.
Yeah. And visually experiencing nature, seeing it, smelling it, touching it is such a reminder of the cycles of nature and that this is a period of time and we're going to get through it and we're going to make the best of it and get outside. And I think that creating spaces for that from a mental health standpoint for me personally has been hugely important during the past year. So hopefully we can continue to envision spaces that would, now that we've been through this, we can, plan for that.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's such an interesting point that you bring up, both of you, is like planning for that, and the even I think Jason, you started touching on this, the health outcomes of having access to public space and fresh air. And one of the things that I've really enjoyed about learning more about our plan, and as I share with the community, with our team together, is that this is a resource for the entire city. this proposed plan. It's not just something for people who live in downtown San Jose. It's for everybody who lives in the broader city of San Jose or even across the region of the Bay Area. We understand that this could be a really cool destination, no matter who you are or where you are. You can hop on the train or the bus or the VTA or your bicycle and come to the downtown West area and be able to enjoy the nature that's naturally there. So on that note, I have a question about what you've both heard. I know that our team has been doing a lot of community outreach over the last 2 years. We've had over 100 community meetings, hearing from people what they would like to see happen. I'm curious what sticks out for both of you. What have you heard, both the ideas and maybe some of the questions that people ask and your potential response to those questions in terms of what the community would like to see and access to nature?
Yeah.
I'll
Go
go.
ahead, Jason. You go. Yeah, go for it.
From the feedback from the community that we've been hearing and collecting, a lot of it stems from the unknown of what this change would look like. If you asked people what type of city or neighborhood they would like to live in, there are a lot of commonalities. A place that has a vibrant culture and street life and like beautiful nature, fresh air. And a lot of that is shared with the visions from the Downtown West development, as well as the visions of the Guadalupe River Park. I think the implementation and the uncertainty and the transition spurs into different types of fears in terms of how they feel that this development will fit in with the existing neighborhood. How will this development fit in with the existing wildlife? Will it be additive to the entire experience? Because it's so big, it's hard to imagine what that would look like. And I remember I was just walking with a friend, and I was trying to explain to him the project in its context to Arena Green. And we were standing at Arena Green, we were looking at Dearborn Station, and I told him, what you see is 1/3 of the project. There's still another 2/3 here. And there's both a look of awe, a look of not fear, but uncertainty, and this desire to better understand what this means for him and his community, me for my community. And I think that is a lot of it just really rooted. The values are similar. The values of having like a connected natural corridor, connect to the neighborhood, a place that has an identity, a place that has a lot of people. Like that's all shared. I think how that change would impact our daily lives is where a lot of the uncertainty comes from, and it manifests in different ways that we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, after the year we've all lived, uncertainty it's at an all-time high, and
uncertainty is the only certainty right now.
Right, and in a weird way, I'm almost like the trees and the river and access to nature is the only thing that I feel like I can count on. And I don't know, Bethany, what are you hearing from the community?
Yeah, no, I'm hearing a lot about a desire for connectivity, of course. People want to feel like they're welcome. They want to make sure that this place is accessible to everyone, not just Googlers, but those who work at Google, but everyone, visitors, people of all ages and backgrounds and diversity of every kind. And I think people want to make sure that they're welcome and that they will feel like they belong in that place, from both a workplace, perspective to, a community perspective. And I think we're really trying to plan and envision a place that is accessible to everyone, that you can come, that you don't have to pay for anything. And by anything, I mean you can walk through and enjoy it. It's an open type of place. It's not closed off or walled off, or restricted in a way that you couldn't enjoy a city street or a right of way or a park. And I think we're working really hard to make that happen in a successful way. I'm also hearing that folks want to make sure that these spaces in the public realm are lively and activated and safe, and that while there should be some places for formal programming, like, dancing in the park or nature or environmental education programs, there are also spaces, like I said earlier, that people can just be and sit and people watch and meet a friend and have an ice cream cone if you want, or a coffee, or not. You don't have to buy anything. You can just walk down the street and enjoy brand new tree canopy that we're planting. And so I think what I'm hearing is people want to feel, the place is accessible, that it's open, it's not closed off, and that there's something happening and it's activated, and they can come and experience it and be a part of it, whether they want to actually participate or just watch. And I think that we're on our way to getting there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So Jessica, you actually said something that kind of brought back a recent memory I had, also walking with another neighbor around the park. And it is about the consistency of nature and how we rely on it. And I commend you all actually for the treatment that you're providing for Los Gatos Creek, because I think that's definitely one of the other underutilized and underappreciated natural assets that we have in the downtown area. And the person I was walking with, she was familiar with the neighborhood before it was the gardens. And she remembers the houses and the blocks and the street trees and how you can just run to the river and play. And she has been here for many years and seen a lot of these changes, and she still believes in the river, in kind of the confluence of Los Gatos Creek and the Guadalupe River. And I think that's where there's a lot of alignment between what we're both working on, because we are both trying to bring new energy into a place that people cherish, while also maintaining the core ethos, the core spirit that kind of roots San Joseans of different generations together, which is kind of bounded by a waterway where our city is.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just thinking about connection between people and between space. This is the opportunity to kind of think about connection between time, because it's not going to, that connection doesn't stop right now, or it doesn't stop when the project is done. It continues to live on after we're done with our work here. So I think connection could go into 4 dimensions instead of 2.
That's right. I like that.
Wow, what a great conversation. Thank you so much. I'm sure our viewers may have a few questions, and we will make sure to let everyone know that we are open to your questions, your ideas. You can email us at downtownwest@google.com. You can visit our website. You can subscribe to our newsletter. We just want to appreciate the people who have taken the time to listen to this video. Before we close, Bethany and Jason, do you have any parting thoughts about public realm and civic engagement and the future of Downtown West?
I think just reflecting on this whole experience, it's been quite a process to plan and envision and work with the community, looking at like 80 acres. It's unprecedented and it's exciting. And I'm just so proud of how so many people have come together to voice their preferences, their dislikes, their likes. I just so appreciate the engagement that people have, like Jason and other organizations and folks at the city, staff, and you know, people just walking off the street, it's very inspiring from someone that comes from an urban planning background. It's the more interaction we have, the richer the place will be in the end. So just super excited to be a part of this and grateful for everyone who's been participating.
Yeah. And Bethany, I really appreciated you ending on the note with engagement, because I feel like that is the level of public life that we're trying to achieve. There's
Absolutely.
definitely the introductory one where you, as a person, kind of consume a lot of this experience. Like you appreciate what you see, you do linger, you kind of just observe, and then maybe you partake, you buy an ice cream, as you just said, or you kind of take a walk. Um, and the ideal kind of end goal is now they want to contribute, now they want to build upon it, now they want to add their own identity or their own imprints on this kind of broader outfit, in a way, of public life. And I think that is such a great way to kind of end this topic, because public life, when we do it right, is not just about having people outside eating on the sidewalk and having great conversations. It's having great conversations about the city that they're in, thinking about how they want to give back, how they want to support the community that they feel connected in because of the vibrant public realm that they're in. So thank you for kind of bringing that up. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great chatting with you.
Always nice, always fun.
All right. Thanks so much, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Jess.
Thank you.
Bye.